We all know there are a ton of rules that the royal family has to follow. These include everything from what they can eat to what they can tweet. There are even some pretty crazy rules about what they're allowed to wear. We'll tell you about the fashion rules that the royal family is forced to follow. First, be sure to follow the taco by pressing the subscribe button. Let's begin. Colors. We love the fact that Queen Elizabeth II wears such fabulous outfits. Between her brilliantly bright colors and her giant hats, she always looks as if she's on her way to the Kentucky Derby. But there's a reason that she dresses in such an amazing rainbow of colors and encourages her royal family members to do the same. That's because when the royal family is out and about in public, she wants to make sure that they all stand out. When you're in a big crowd of people, it can be difficult to distinguish yourself. The Queen believes that if she wore more muted colors, it would make it harder for people to catch a glimpse of her. Strangely enough, this love of bright colors does not extend to nail polish. It's forbidden for royal family members to wear bright colors such as red on their nails. The Queen chooses to paint her nails in Essie's ballet slipper color when she wants to look especially fancy. Kate Middleton swears by the color Allure by the same brand, and even wore it on her wedding day. It's only a matter of time before we find out what Meghan Markle's favorite muted nail color will be. Children. Not even the adorable royal children are exempt from the fashion rules that the royal family has to follow. If you're a fan of sweet little Prince George, you've likely noticed that you never see the tot wearing a pair of trousers. There's a reason that he's always pictured wearing shorts, and that's because it signifies that he is a member of high society. For the upper class, boys wearing pants is seen as terribly suburban, according to etiquette experts. They're fine for men and older children, but Prince George probably won't get his first pair until he's at least 8 years old. It's a subtle marker of class to be sure, but an important one in many social circles, including that of the royal family. Princess Charlotte may be even younger, but even she isn't immune to the fashion rules of the royal family. She must always be dressed properly, and when she's on royal tours or visits, you'll see her dressed in the brightest of colors. Even though she's not quite old enough to dress herself, her parents make sure that she dresses in a way that Queen Elizabeth would approve of. Sadly, she'll miss out on the teenage girl rite of passage of wearing tons of glittery nail polish. Tights. Once upon a time, it was unthinkable that a woman would venture outside without wearing a pair of stockings. But nowadays, most of us aren't afraid to go out with bare legs. However, the women of the royal family wouldn't dare step out in public without sporting a pair of tights. Yes, this rule is literally constricting, but it's one of the few hard and fast rules that they have to follow. Some fashion edicts allow a little wiggle room, but not this one. All royal women are required to cover their legs with tights when they are out in public. Kate Middleton is a huge fan of John Lewis 7 Denier Barely There tights. If you want to cover your legs like a member of the royal family, you'll be relieved to know that you can grab a pair of these for only about $7.50. Although a black or colored pair of tights is acceptable, the most common color that you'll see the royal women wear is nude. Scandalously enough, we've noticed that Meghan Markle isn't shy about appearing in public with bare legs. Only time will tell if she'll follow this important rule once married, or if she'll stand up and defy the Queen by shunning tights. Tiaras. Unless it's part of a Halloween costume or you're feeling a bit extra on your wedding day, most women don't have many occasions to don a tiara. Of course, we don't have as much access to the number of exquisite tiaras that the royal family does, but still. However, there are very strict rules about who is allowed to wear a tiara and when. Basically, if you're a single lady intended to be married to a royal, you aren't allowed to wear a tiara, so you'll have to find a new tacky accessory for your bachelorette party. Sorry, Meghan Markle, even little royal children aren't allowed to wear a tiara. The honor is strictly reserved for brides on their wedding days, or already married royal women on special occasions. A tiara is an important symbol of royal affiliation, and merely being engaged to a member of the royal family isn't enough to earn you the right to wear one. Until you're ready to make the walk down the aisle, you better not even think about putting a tiara on your head. It also acts as a sign that a woman is officially off the market and not looking for potential suitors. Signaling. While wearing a tiara or not can denote your marital status, it isn't the only royal accessory that can convey a message. Have you ever wondered why Queen Elizabeth feels the need to carry around a purse with her wherever she goes? After all, she doesn't need to have a driver's license or a passport like the rest of us, and probably has a servant in charge of her more mundane items. Her personal bag is used to convey a wide variety of signals to her staff. making this an especially important fashion rule. Let's say that it's dinner time and the queen is getting ready to wrap things up. In order to let staff know that they should get ready to begin clearing plates, the queen will set her handbag on the table. This lets everyone know that they have about 5 minutes to scarf down their food before dinner is officially over. If the queen is stuck in a boring conversation, she will set her handbag on the floor. This lets one of her ladies-in-waiting know that she is over the current situation and needs a polite and discreet rescue. That sounds like the kind of clever idea we might want to incorporate into our own social life. Morning clothes. Considering the fact that they are so wealthy, it seems like members of the royal family can probably buy whatever they might need on the go. But there is one specific outfit that they must always carry with them, no matter where or how they are traveling around the globe. Members of the royal family always have to carry around a morning outfit comprised of black clothes. Especially since they're usually spotted wearing such bright colors, it simply wouldn't do to be seen wearing such things if a tragedy had occurred. The royal family is under intense scrutiny, so even being spotted for a moment in a non-appropriate outfit would be a huge scandal. You might think that this is one of those crazy rules that will never come into play, but it totally has. In 1952, the Queen was visiting Kenya with Prince Philip when she received the tragic news that her beloved father had passed away. She hadn't packed appropriate morning clothes, so she was forced to wait in her plane on the runway until a suitable outfit could be brought to her. It was an embarrassing situation, and one that she's determined no other royal family member will be forced to experience because of poor planning. Cleavage bags. It's probably one of the least shocking aspects of life as a member of the royal family, but the Queen frowns on excessive displays of cleavage. It's simple enough to wear garments with a high neck, but that isn't all that the royal family does in order to prevent an accidental flash of something indecent. We told you that the Queen uses her handbags in order to send messages to her staff, but other royal women use their bags in an entirely different way. Have you ever noticed that many royal women seem to have a clutch in their hands? When Princess Diana was alive, she was one of the most photographed people in the entire world. She was always carrying around a clutch too small to hold much, but they served an extremely important purpose. She called them her cleavage bags, and she used them to make sure that she never showed off more skin than she intended. When she would step out of a vehicle, she made sure to bring up her clutch enough to hide anything that might bring shame upon the royal family. It sounds kind of silly, but it worked like a charm. Hats. We already know that there are a lot of rules surrounding the practice of wearing tiaras, but what about regular hats? You have probably noticed that Queen Elizabeth is a huge fan of hats, and is almost always seen wearing one. That actually has to do with an old etiquette rule that she still follows to this day. Prior to the 1950s, proper ladies were seldom seen without a hat on their heads in public. Showing their hair in public was just a bit too scandalous, so naturally, the Queen would have kept hers hidden away. While the younger generations may not have grown up with this rule, it's one that the Queen still follows. However, there is a time and a place, and there's actually a cutoff time for wearing hats for the royal family. If you're a female member of the royal family wearing a hat indoors, you must remove it by 6 p.m. sharp. It seems like an arbitrary rule, but there is some method behind the madness. Forcing women to remove their hats gives them an excuse to pop on that fabulous tiara. Of course, as long as you're married or it's your wedding day. Gloves. Most of us don't even think about wearing gloves unless it's cold out, or we need them for our job. But if you're a member of the royal family, following this fashion rule is pretty much a part of your occupation. In addition to making them look even more rich and fancy than they already do, there is a very important reason why many members don a pair of gloves during public outings. Royal family members spend a lot of time shaking hands and greeting people when they are out and about. This earns them love from the public, but can be rough on the hands. Most people have hands that are dirty and covered with germs, and naturally, royal family members don't want to be exposed to such things skin to skin. Gloves are also a great way to hide some of your flaws. Princess Diana started wearing gloves to hide the fact that she had the bad habit of biting her fingernails. The Queen likes to keep her arms hidden, so she purchases gloves that extend to just underneath her sleeve. To wear them properly, you must remove them before you start eating any type of food. You should pull them off finger by finger, and then rest them underneath your napkin on your lap at the dinner table. Propriety. Of course, the members of the royal family always need to appear proper in public. They just take doing so to the next level. You've probably noticed that Kate Middleton wears a ton of enviable coats. These are gorgeous and sell out in minutes whenever she steps out in one, but you'll never see her shedding that outer layer. For some royal reason, taking off your coat is determined to be an unladylike action, and it's only to be done in the privacy of your own homes. So, if Kate Middleton grabs a coat for a day out, she's making a huge commitment, since she can't take it off if she changes her mind. When it comes to shoes, royal women know better than to wear wedge-style shoes in front of the queen. They can get away with slipping into a pair on occasion, but apparently the queen just can't stand them for whatever reason. Wearing heels is encouraged for female members of the royal family, but only to a certain extent. It's important that their heels are kept to a proper and manageable height. Which one of these royal fashion rules do you think you'd have a hard time following? Let us know which rule you just couldn't stick to in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe to The Taco, and we'll see you next time.